This is my way too early 2027 ranking for every NBA team. Don't take your team's ranking as something that is totally locked in, but based on how every roster currently looks, this is where I have them ranked. All 30 NBA teams will be placed into different tiers of title contention, and the higher the tier, the more serious of a contender they truly are. But first, we need to start at the bottom tier, where I like to call this the dead zone. This is a tier where teams have little to no chance of making the playoffs, but some of them are still trying to compete. These teams could have all-star players and have the roster capable of competing, but they just need this season to improve and get better for the seasons after. And some of these teams just have no talent and are trying to completely rebuild. So all of these teams, I think, have no chance at all next season. The next tier is something I like to call the door knockers. The teams who have a fighting chance to make a play-in or even a playoff spot, but most likely will not make it. And the first team I have in this tier is the Washington Wizards. They just received the first overall pick, AJ DeBonta, and just picked up on Trae Young and Anthony Davis' contract. But I think injuries will still riddle this team. I believe this is a talented enough team to be highly competitive, but those injuries, man, they are going to happen if you like it or not. The next team in this tier is a championship team 5 years ago, and it's the Phoenix Suns. This roster hasn't done much to get better, and Devin Booker is leaving his prime form. They have talented players like Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks, but I don't think they have what it takes for another playoff season. The next team is the Golden State Warriors, who just got one of my favorite players from the draft, Axel Lindenberg, who just won a championship in the Summer League. He brings championship winning mentality, and Stephen Curry is getting up there in age, and he knows this is one of his last chances, so I think the Warriors will be on a revenge tour, but won't be too highly competitive. The last team in this tier is the Orlando Magic. They haven't done anything this offseason to get better on offense, which is one of their glaring weaknesses. I don't think the defense can carry them to another lucky playoff spot. There are just too many talented teams in this league right now, and the Magic need to realize that before it's too late. The next tier is the playoff pretenders, the teams who will most likely make the playoffs, but will be bounced out in either the play-in or the first round. And the first team in this tier is the Utah Jazz. I think the Jazz will be the most improved team from last season, being at the bottom of the West. But it takes a lot to be first to worst. But this is a solid improvement for a young team with talented superstars like Keontae George, Darren Peterson, and Lauri Markkanen. So Jazz fans, be excited. The next team I have is the Indiana Pacers. Yes, Tyrese Halliburton is back, but it takes time to be good once again, coming off a serious injury he suffered. They got a great big now, Ivica Zubac, and an all-NBA player still, Pascal Siakam. But I think they need this season to get back in shape for the season after, and then that's when they'll be competitive once again. But as of now, they're going to be pretty mid. The next team is the Miami Heat. I think you guys are hyping up the Heat way too much. Yes, Giannis and Bam will be an electric duo, but outside of that, they don't have much. They just lost two of their best scorers, Tyler Hero and Norman Powell. If you're going to be a good playoff team, you need to have a complete roster, and that's what they're lacking most. The next team I have here might shock some of you guys, but it's the Boston Celtics. The loss of Jaylen Brown is way more crucial of a loss than you guys think. Jaylen Brown was the engine of the team, being both an elite scorer and defender, and Jason Tatum cannot carry this team without him. But Jaylen Brown could carry when Tatum was gone. Don't get me wrong, the Celtics will still be a playoff team, but with the loss of Jaylen Brown, they won't be a top playoff team. The next team is the Houston Rockets. Kevin Durant is 1 year older, Alperen Sengun is still an all-star center, but I don't think he has what it takes to lead this team. I could see the Rockets being the 7 or 8 seed in the West, not because they got worse, but because other teams just got better, and the Rockets did not do much to get better. The last team in this tier will be the Portland Trail Blazers. Last season, the Trailblazers surprised most people, becoming the 7th seed in the West. And this season, I think they do about the same. With the comeback of Damian Lillard and the arrival of potential star Ja Morant, will bring this team to some talks of championship contention. But as of now, I think they have stayed mostly the same. This next tier is the teams who are playoff standouts. Teams who I think will make a solid run in the playoffs, but just don't have it quite yet. And the first team is the Atlanta Hawks. They just traded for an elite defender, Lou Dort, and in the draft, they got an underrated point guard, Kingston Flemings. I believe they are one of the best defensive teams in the league, and they will definitely improve on offense. I could see them making out of the first round, and they are my dark horses for next season. Now we have entered the top 10, and this next team just reshaped their entire roster in free agency, and it's the Los Angeles Lakers. Yes, LeBron James is leaving. Where to? We have no clue, but we know he's leaving. They just got Walker Kessler, a very great shooting big and rim protector. They also picked up a great role player, Quentin Grimes, and they also selected one of my favorite players in the draft, Cameron Carr. I think the Lakers have been stuck in a hole for the last couple of seasons, and as of now, if they don't get any better, I think they're going to have another second round exit. This next team made a big move this offseason, and it's the Toronto Raptors. Kawhi Leonard's trade is still under investigation, but most likely it will still be approved. Last season, the Raptors surprised the NBA community by being the 5th seed in the East and barely losing to the Cavs in the first round. Now, they got an MVP caliber player, Kawhi, who will help the offense in a big way, relieving some pressure off of Scotty Barnes, and I think players like Emmanuel Quickley, Colin Murray-Boyles, and RJ Barrett will all take steps next season. So expect the Raptors to be back next season. This next team just added the superstar point guard, and it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. For the last 4 seasons, Anthony Edwards has looked like an MVP, but they have been stuck in the Western Conference Finals and the second round for a little while now. But with the arrival of LaMelo Ball, things could possibly change. But I do still believe there are more talented teams in the West, but the Timberwolves have definitely gotten better. The last team in the playoff standouts tier will be the Cleveland Cavaliers. They just gave Donovan Mitchell a crazy contract, and he's still in his prime, but a player who will not be in their prime next season is James Harden. I think he's definitely going to take a step back. Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen are still great defenders, as long as the rest of this roster, but I just don't think they have what it takes to get better. So I don't think this team has what it takes like the other teams in the next tier. And that next tier is the true contenders. These are the 3 teams from each conference who have a legitimate chance to win the finals. And this first team is the Denver Nuggets. I believe the Nuggets have one of the best well-rounded rosters in the league. Nikola Jokic is still an MVP caliber player, and Jamal Murray will be fully back healthy after dealing with some ankle issues. And if you watch my free agency predictions video, I do still believe LeBron James will go to this team. I think the Nuggets will improve next season. Everyone's 1 year wiser and more NBA championship ready, so expect the Nuggets to be back in championship contention. We have now entered the top 5. And at number 5, I have the Detroit Pistons. If you watch my awards predictions video, you should know that I think Cade Cunningham will win the MVP. I also think Sir Thompson will also be a great candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. And they also got one of my favorite shooters, Isaiah Joe, as well as an elite young scorer, Ibuka Okori. Last season was the first time the Pistons were true contenders, and now 1 year older, they will be more playoff ready. Cade will be in his prime, and if Jalen Duren comes back, the NBA better be ready. Yes, this next team just won the finals, and it's the New York Knicks. I think the Knicks will take a step back, as most championship teams do, but don't expect them to be totally gone because Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and OG Anunoby are still all in their prime, but the loss of Mitchell Robinson I think does hurt them a little bit. They don't have a true backup big now, behind Cat, but that doesn't necessarily matter because this roster is still loaded from top to bottom in talent, so the Knicks will be right up there once again in finals conversations. The next team is the Oklahoma City Thunder, and this team is still one of the best in the league. The amount of depth they have is wild. but they did lose some key guys like Lou Dort and Isaiah Joe. But if Chet Holmgren can just improve his offense a little more, the Thunder would be my favorite to win it all. They drafted a Mara, who I think was an A+ pick, and Bennett Sturts, a nice backup point guard. I think AJ Mitchell will be one of the most improved players in the league, as long as Jared McCain, who will get a lot more playing time now. So expect the Thunder to still be the most annoyingly good team in the entire league. Okay, this is my favorite out of the West, and it's no other than my favorite team, the San Antonio Spurs. I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. The Spurs just got better this offseason, drafting elite defenders Jaden Quaintance and Terrence Reed Jr., and also adding Tobias Harris, a great veteran scorer from free agency. Wemby will just get even better, and expect Dylan Harper to win Sixth Man of the Year. Stephon Castle will be the league's best two-way player, alongside great shooters Julian Champagnie and Devin Vassell, but they somehow are not as good as my favorite to win it all, the Philadelphia 76ers. Yes, I think they are the best team we have seen in a while. They have, in my opinion, 3 MVP candidates: Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid, as long as VJ Edgecombe, who's coming off one of the best rookie seasons. They also added Dion Wade and Anthony Simons in free agency, 2 elite bench players, and they might somehow get LeBron James. I don't think this is a crazy take. Having them first, if you just glance at their roster, that's all you need to see before the season even starts. But there you have it. That is all 30 teams ranked for next season. If you like this ranking, hit that subscribe button. It's free, and we're also trying to build up to 500 subscribers. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.